Hello. Can't see you, Art. I can hear you. Can't see you.
Well, let me get my act together. I
Oh,
was I
yeah.
was watching another video, and I lost track of time.
It happens.
So let me clean up the screen here a little bit. Okay.
I was watching a different video too and kind of looked and went, oh, it's 5 o'clock.
Yeah, I was watching something on the history of flying boats. That's kind of an interesting subject.
Flying,
Anyway, so how we
flying
doing?
boats, huh?
Yeah, how we doing?
Not bad. Not bad. Um, Pretty much about the same, really. Patty's going to bring me a snack here in a few minutes.
Oh, early dinner or just a snack?
Just a snack. I'm getting um tater tots to snack on.
You were snacking on
Pepperoni.
pepperoni. I remember that. So
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and I would have snacked on pepperoni, but I ate it all last night. So
oh okay.
we
Do
got to
you
go.
buy it pre-sliced or do you
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
you don't buy the whole pepperoni and then chop it up and
I buy a I buy Hormel 2 pound bag of it at a
uh,
time. And I just kind of munch on it throughout the day. It's just kind of a, I don't know, protein snack kind of deal that's not healthy for you at all.
uh,
So
depends on what you have to steer clear of. If you're diabetic, it's probably better for you than something that's high in carbohydrates. On the other hand, there's a fair amount of fat in it, I think,
I
also.
well, and a lot of grease. I mean, especially if it starts to warm up any at all,
Yeah,
you let all the grease out of it.
yeah.
So, but yeah,
So we are virtual this week, and
definitely next week. Uh,
I thought this was alternating. It was live, then virtual, then live, then virtual.
no, we're still doing the 2 live and then finishing
Right.
out the week or finishing out the month
Yeah.
virtual. Um, so we got, oh, there are. Wow.
Hmm?
We've got the 23rd is virtual and the 30th is virtual. And then the 6th and the 13th are in person. And then we're
Now
back to
this is
virtual.
in May or in June?
May 23rd, May 30th, and June 6th and June 13th.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
and that's just kind of the format that I stuck with. I mean, seems to be the one that everybody kind of likes. So
Yeah, that works for me.
uh, don't need to don't need to make huge changes unless something else happens.
Hmm.
If we suddenly can't get the library for some reason or whatever.
Well, hopefully not.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully that does not happen. But Yeah, I put in last week. I put in for June 6th and June 13th, and of course they said, sure, why not? So
Now, how far in advance can you reserve now?
I'm not sure. I think I can go 2 months at a time, but I've really only done it a month ahead of time, so
Okay.
or roughly a month ahead of time. But I think you can book 2 times a month and 2 months ahead, or 2 months at a time. So you can make 4 bookings in a 2-month period.
Okay. Cool.
I think that's how it works. The old system would let you book like the entire year. I mean, if you wanted to book that far ahead, you could.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
Well, they must have more demand is the only reason I can think of for them changing the system is that there's more demand for their facilities.
well, tater tots.
Oh, wow.
Oh, I don't want more.
Wow. That's a handy snack.
Yeah, these might be all right. I don't usually eat tater tots. They're hot.
What should you do? Microwave them?
They're crispy. I think she air fried them.
Oh, yeah. It's one of those things where you can easily burn the inside of your mouth. It's like pizza, the first piece out of the pie, you typically stick to the roof of your mouth and burn the
Mhm. We watched Men in Black last night. First time we've actually been able to sit down and watch a movie together for ever.
Which
And
one? One, two, or three?
the first one,
Okay.
ordered a pizza, and I was actually shocked. The pizza was actually got here and it was good. I was like, maybe we should order pizza more on Wednesday.
Uh-huh.
Maybe Wednesday is their day.
Uh-huh.
But
Yeah.
yeah, I had not been overly impressed with Domino's.
Oh, this was Domino's?
Yeah. Well, we get Domino's cards because we get 200 fuel points at a time. And having fuel points is handy.
Where do
Having
you,
cards that I don't really use, not so much.
so where do you get these?
Kroger.
Oh, okay.
And um Domino's usually gives you like 4 times the points. So you spend uh $20 and you get 200 points or something,
Mm-hmm.
which is a good deal. But at one point I had like 6 Domino's cards in there because I just didn't like their pizza got horrible.
Okay.
So
Yo, Steve.
I have something for Steve.
Hello.
Hello.
Oh, sweet. That looks good.
There it is.
Hey,
There's your
Steve,
your L9.
your your volume is a little intense there. I don't know. I don't know. Are you seeing that, Leroy?
He was a little loud.
Sorry.
Yeah,
Hold on.
you're you're a little loud.
Machine. I hadn't played with it yet. Oh yeah, all the way at max.
Yeah. Well, that's probably why you're loud. There's a couple little nips on it that need to be cleaned off. But these things turned out really good.
Cool. Thank you.
So those are
Keycaps.
yeah, but you made them with
Oh, the resin.
yeah, okay.
Um, well, there's one of them. It looks like it's gone. I left it sit upside down. One of the holes, one of the keyholes
Mm-hmm.
had some stuff in it, some resin left over, but it looks like it's gone now. I had set them upside down. So my recommendation would be if we can do individual keycaps, that way if one of these does fail for some reason, we can just reprint the one that failed or whatever instead of having to reprint 4 of them at a time or 6 of them at a time. It's still going to take however long it takes, but if we need one versus reprinting all of them.
Yeah.
So did you just reverse engineer the design, or how'd you get the drawing for it?
We're both eating over here.
So I found the design as an OpenSCAD file
Okay.
that is parameterizable. You can tell it what row it's in and how wide. Most keys are 1U. The space bar is 6 1/4. The control windows and alt key are 1 1/4 on most keyboards.
I didn't oh, okay, I guess. Okay.
Oh yeah, people that are into keyboards are really into keyboards.
I was gonna say, man, you know more about keyboards than I ever even realized existed.
So the key that I needed is one of these. These 4 are macro keys.
Yeah.
And they have macro 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7 on them, which is why those are labeled 0 through 7. And those are logins for computers at work.
So now are all the function keys, macro keys, all of them the same size or not?
Those are, and they're slightly larger than normal keys. Normal keys are about 18 1/4 millimeters square, and those are like 19 1/2. They're kind of weird.
Now,
So
the function keys on my keyboard are actually smaller than the character keys. I don't know if you can see it here or not, but
Oh yeah, they do look smaller.
yeah, they're narrower top to bottom. I'll be right back. I gotta go put the dog in.
yeah, they are. In fact, the character keys look pretty close to square, whereas the function keys are long right to left and thin top to bottom. And then there's some other keys above there. Look at that.
Mm-hmm. Like
Along
the
along with-
volume up and
yeah,
yeah.
all of those are completely different dimensions.
Is that a Logitech keyboard?
This is a Logitech wireless keyboard, yes. Single dongle takes care of both the
Yes. Okay, maybe nobody wanted to come in.
single dongle takes care of the
Keyboard.
both keyboard and mouse.
It's probably just like this keyboard with the small volume keys and the smaller
Yeah.
function keys. And it's a Logi, which is the rebranded Logitech.
Wait a minute. What's a rebranded Logitech?
They just call it Logi, Logi.
Is it still made by Logitech?
Mm-hmm.
Just that all that would fit on the little dongles.
Mm-hmm.
And if you get any of the Logitech stuff that has that little orange logo on it,
Yeah.
they're reprogrammable. So if your mouse breaks, you can go get another mouse and you can reprogram the dongle to talk to that new mouse.
Oh, that's handy.
There's an application in Linux called Solar, SOLAAR, 2 A's.
Mm-hmm.
It makes it easy as a breeze to reprogram those things.
Interesting.
I wish I hadn't gotten rid of some of those because I had a bunch of those at one point.
Yeah.
But I didn't know. I didn't know you could do that. So when the mouse died or the keyboard died, I got rid of all that crap.
I have a small bundle of those that I picked up mostly from work where people ask for a new mouse. So I take the old dongle because, yeah, we're reprogrammable.
Okay.
So that's the keys. I only printed one row of keys, but I could print up to 8 keys with the current. Oops. There it is, printing. And that's why I ended up printing.
Mm-hmm.
And they printed. I couldn't watch them print because I had them facing the backside of the printer, which I didn't realize I had done that, but that was kind of a bummer because I kind of wanted to see what they were doing.
So why do they print them oblique like that rather than just down flat?
Well, me and Steve had that conversation. There's not a whole lot of surface area. And the concaveness, the holder there would hold a lot of extra resin that wouldn't cure.
Okay.
So if I flipped it over, it would have like a lot of resin in it. And if it's flat like that, I don't think it would stick to the build plate real well because there's not a whole lot of surface for it to grab onto.
Mm-hmm.
So I ended up watching a video and the guy raised them at about a 45-degree angle. And I was like, brilliant. That's exactly what I needed to know. So YouTube came in handy for something useful.
Well, it often does.
Now the the guy's video, he only was able to get 6 on, but I think probably if we split them apart, that would probably be true. I could only get 6, but in the current format, I could get 2 rows, so I could get 8.
So do you have to slice them apart after they're done? They're actually separate?
Yeah. I don't have the STL file. I don't know where I did with the STL file. They are separate. You can kind of see there's a little gap between all of them.
Okay.
Oops. I wasn't sharing the screen then. Well, I was trying to show you the gap. There's
Okay. I
there's
got it.
there's a little gap.
Yep.
And the only thing that really happened was a couple of these stands did
Yeah.
not break off as clean as they could. So there's still some post-processing that needs to be done to the keycaps, but overall they turned out pretty good. So
So you use an X-Acto knife to cut those
yeah,
off?
yeah, and the guy, the video, he used like an X-Acto and actually sliced one of his keycaps. So he destroyed one of his caps. So you've got to be careful when you're trying to clean them up, which is another reason why I said maybe we want to make individual keycaps. So if we need to reprint one from whatever screw up we might do.
Yeah, we can do that.
I love, once I figured out how to actually print them, I mean, it was easy peasy, but it was an experiment. We probably need to tweak it a little.
How durable are the keycaps?
Steve's going to get some better resin because I just am using the base resin that I've got, but I'd say they're pretty good. I think it would be pretty hard to break that, especially after it's set under the curing link. And I cured these things for over an hour.
Mhm.
I mean, it was, I probably over cured them, but I didn't want them to break. So
Well, the reason I ask is this. I've got one client, and I don't know if it's a hand lotion or whatever, but she over a period of time will wear the letters off of the keycaps. So after using a keyboard and she does a lot of keying. Okay, so I mean, it's not like this is a short-term thing, but she will completely obliterate the letters on. So when I go in there to work on her computer, I have to think about which key is which because there's nothing on there. So that's the thing that you have to cut off with an X-Acto knife.
yeah, that's,
or flush cut diagonal cutters.
yeah,
Okay.
something, you just need something. But I had text Steve and said a couple of the stands didn't break off as clean as they could. And a couple of them didn't break off clean inside, but those were easy enough to get out. Just a little
I
pair
don't care
of,
about those.
yeah, I wasn't worried about those, but there's another one. It
Mhm.
just didn't clean.
That's
Just,
mine.
yes,
I bought factory keys that have that.
yeah.
So two things for your typist that is wearing out keys. Well, in a story first. I used to live in Missouri, and I worked in the state house there, and they had these VIDEC word processors. These things were powered by a Z80, and memory was 2,000 characters that it would roll through. The displays were 20-inch CRTs, green CRTs, and the letters were vector drawn. The
Mhm.
keyboards were built into the chassis of this thing, and they were $600 to replace
Ugh.
because they were a weird keyboard and they had extra keys and stuff. Those women would drive their fingernails literally through the keys. I'd go in and there were holes in the keys. And luckily, the keys were standard cherry profile, which is what those things are that Leroy's got. And you can buy just keycaps. They're pretty inexpensive, actually. You can get a set at Amazon for $25 that's got 172 keys. They're double shot, meaning they cast one piece of plastic that has a letter sticking up, and then they put that in another mold and they put a different color plastic around it. So the letter is actually plastic. It goes into the key. That's called double shot. And if this person, who I'm assuming types a lot, is worth an investment of $150 or so, you should get them a decent mechanical keyboard that is repairable.
Mhm.
This keyboard here was $215. It's an aluminum case. Every single switch can be removed individually without desoldering it. It's all in little sockets. The caps are double shots. This is probably the last keyboard I'll buy for 15 or 20 years. I type a lot.
Yeah, I like it's kind of hard to see, but the numbers in there are impressed.
Right.
Okay.
And
So
I'm going to take a crayon and fill them in and then cover the top of the key with UV curable glue.
yeah, or something, because even the resin that you want to use, I was reading a little bit, over time your oils will break it down.
Yeah, that's why I was doing the UV resin,
Yeah,
UV glue over it.
yeah. Everybody recommends using something to coat them in. So he's right. There's like this huge community around keycaps and keyboards and
Keyboards. This is a whole new discovery for
oh,
me. I mean,
they're not going to Walmart and buying the $20 Logitech keyboard. They're
my take on keyboards is generally they fail by one of the keys either sticking or coming loose or whatever. And that's to throw it in the trash and buy another one.
Spare switches.
Interesting. Huh.
These are Cherry Design, Cherry Manufacturing, who used to make keyboards, actually. I think they still do. They cost about 35-40 cents a piece, depending on where you buy them. I harvested these from another keyboard. They're, in fact, I had one key that wasn't working quite right. It wasn't the right weight, so I swapped one out on here 2 days ago or so. And honestly, if you're a decent typer, now I'm not, but if you're a decent typer, the difference between a crappy keyboard and a good keyboard is probably a 15% increase in your typing speed.
Yeah, that's kind of interesting because I can still type about 70 words a minute, which is what I was typing in high school
That's good.
on this piece of POS. So I would wonder what I could actually type on a decent keyboard.
Want to borrow?
Maybe one day.
I have many.
Vicente bought a mechanical keyboard 3 or 4 weeks ago, and we hit a bunch of buttons and whatever, and the one he bought he took back and got a different one and had to spend $250 for it, and he was kind of, I spent 250, but I guess the keyboard's good. But yeah, I don't really like to type on this thing. This
Is
just,
that wireless?
yeah. It's probably the same keyboard that you've got, or very, very close to it.
This, I think, is a 220 or something like that. Let's see.
I don't know what this is. This came from Walmart, and it was a little bit more expensive than the Walmart brand, but I figured Logitech made a better keyboard.
Well, I've used Logitech for a long time.
This is a K270.
Yeah, let me see. The problem with this is that you got to get the light at the right angle to be able to read. Let's see. Oh, this is a 270 also.
Yeah. Yeah, I when you held it up, I was like, I recognize that keyboard.
Yeah, this is a K270.
And then you said your mouse and everything.
Yeah, this is a Logitech. I think the combination typically costs me around $30 from Amazon.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I got it from Walmart, and it wasn't that much. It was like 25 maybe.
But I
That was also one of those that my other keyboard, the grandkids spilled pop in it, and I tried and tried and tried to get it to clean up, and it just wouldn't do it. So it was kind of an act of desperation, run down to Walmart, buy a
Yeah.
keyboard.
Yeah, well, over the years, I've dealt with a number of coffee spills, tea spills, you know, Coca-Cola is terrible.
Well,
Yeah.
we were, playing the math game, and all of a sudden this pop just kind of, and I'm like, this is bad.
Oops.
I don't.
Yeah, the ones that were really bad were coffee with double cream and double sugar. That's what some people call regular, particularly in New York.
Yeah.
And at that point, generally just throwing it in the trash is the best solution.
You used to be able to, and I tried it, it didn't work. You take the batteries out of the keyboard, you put it in the dishwasher upside down, and run it on no soap. You don't want soap. Really, really hot water, and it will melt all the stuff. And if you put it in there at kind of an angle, it'll all drain. It'll all
Oh,
drain
really?
out. And it will.
You don't put it on dry, I assume.
Nope, nope. You just let the really, really hot water, let it run through the really hot water cycle,
Hmm.
and you let it dry. That usually fixes it, and that worked for about 3 hours, and then the keyboard just started doing weird, funky stuff, and I was like, okay, it's done.
Yeah, it's hard to get the water out from between those two plastic sheets.
Yeah, well, yeah, the old keyboards probably were more mechanical in nature than
Yeah.
the cheap things.
When I worked at Kings Island, anytime a kid wanted to go home early, they'd dump a soda in the cash register. We had a dishwasher in the electronics shop just for cash register parts. But yeah, we'd take the keyboard out of those things. And so there's actually three thin sheets of plastic, two flat ones and one with holes. And we'd separate those across the little spines sticking up in the bottom of the dishwasher. And it worked pretty well.
Yeah, you're melting the sugars and the
Yep.
um, cola and whatever else is in there, and it once what if it works, it works, and if it doesn't, you're no better off, no worse off than you were
Yeah,
to
this
try.
is true.
So
So this is my work keyboard. It's effectively the same thing as what I've got here, though it doesn't have those extra keys on the side, but it does have a knob. That's handy. You can tie it in to change the volume on the thing or screen brightness or select levels. It does some neat stuff. This is the same. This is almost exactly the same one I've got, except I've got different keys on it. But $80 for a fully mechanical hot swap switch keyboard. This is strictly wired. If you want something that does wireless, which I've never figured out, the price jumps by $100.
Really?
Yeah. So this is keychron.com, and they have a few keyboards. Each one is a line item, or is a keyboard. I really, really like 80% or TKL keys. I can't use a number pad, so this thing is perfect for me. $214 when you get up to something that does wireless. I have no idea why.
because they can.
Yeah. But I've got two Keychron keyboards and two from a company called WASD. And I bought Marla one. I got her a Q13. Let's see. Q13 Pro. Because she likes this style.
Ugh.
Oh, it's the ergonomic keyboard.
Yeah.
Does that one go up in the center or is it all flat?
It looks like there's a little bit of a rise in the middle. Not much.
Because some of them are really peaked in the center.
Yeah.
I have
I don't like those. Well, I don't like imagine trying to type on that with one hand.
yes, I prefer not to. Yeah, I understand.
But the ones that are angled a lot,
Yeah,
you've always got to hold your hand up and
Yeah.
not the same way. It's a different thing. They're not comfortable to me, but she likes it.
Somebody has, let's see if this is a parts thing, or parts are not working. They've got a Keychron K8 wireless mechanical keyboard on eBay for $20 plus $15 to have it shipped. It says for parts. I don't know.
A8. I don't recognize that number. A or K is in Kevin?
K is in Kevin. K8.
Oh, that's a TKL. That's an $80 keyboard.
Okay. Probably, maybe it needs a new battery.
They have lithium ion batteries. They're rechargeable. They're replaceable. You can buy parts for Keychrons.
That seems like a fairly decent price for a mechanical keyboard, even if it is in parts. It's a looks like a pretty basic keyboard.
They're good keyboards. As long as the circuit board in it isn't broken, it's fixable, almost certainly. Even if the circuit board is broken, it's probably fixable.
Says in the description for parts because my laptop cannot connect to it. It cannot find the Bluetooth. Okay. I don't know what that
Find
means.
the Bluetooth.
Well, it's a Bluetooth keyboard.
Okay.
It looks like it's got a Bluetooth switch and a cable switch. And you could use it with Android or Mac. So
Android or Mac.
Yeah, so is this not really meant for, is it not really meant for
The reason that most of the people say you can use it with Mac is because it comes with a set of CMD keys that you replace the Win keys with. So they assume, oh, it's for a Mac. If it's Bluetooth, it's Bluetooth. It should work with Windows, Linux, anything that has a Bluetooth stack.
this actually has a switch on it that says
Yeah.
Maybe it says Windows, maybe it says Win, Android, and Mac OS. So, but it does have the command key. So somebody was using it for, probably using it as a Mac. I don't care about that.
Or they hate Windows.
Or they hate Windows, yeah. Yeah, it's got the command keys. Who cares? But it looks like a basic keyboard. It doesn't look all fancified or anything.
They are very comfortable. I don't know if that one, well, that one's cheaper, so that's a plastic case.
Okay.
So that's the difference between the $80 keyboards and the $150 keyboards is the case.
You got a metal case. Yeah.
Yeah, this thing is solid.
Knock out the intruder case. Knock out the intruder and not hurt the keyboard case.
Yeah, to just get a little stain on the corner.
Yeah.
Well, here's a K6 for basically $35 after shipping
Where are you finding these?
on eBay.
Yeah.
I just typed in Keychron. That's all I typed. Keychron keyboard.
It's Keychron?
Yep.
Keychron. Yeah.
Okay.
And this one says wireless mechanical keyboard, RGB backlight, aluminum red switch. So this one's got the aluminum. And it's got extra keycaps. Let's see what the description says. In excellent condition, comes with all original accessories. That probably is a better deal than spending $30 on a maybe.
Well, it sounds like the guy just bought the wrong thing.
It's another keyboard that looks like a basic keyboard, and it's got the command keys. Somebody thinks it's probably for a Mac.
Yeah. So the extra keys are different colored escape, different colored enter, the CMD keys.
It's got the little cap puller.
Yep.
That's probably a better deal. $35. That's almost what I spent on the stupid Logitech. I might have to save that one. Wait for the payday. I guess I'm going to start searching eBay next payday for Keychron keyboards. Not that I'm cheap or anything.
Oh, no. We would never call you cheap. Frugal. We'll call you frugal.
I'm frugal. There's a C3 for 22.
I'm looking at one for 40 with brown switches.
Oh, the C.
The thing. People are very into their switches. I'll be right back. Oh, never mind. That's here.
The C3 looks like it's got it doesn't have the numpad, but it looks like it's got more function keys and maybe macro keys. Those may be macro keys.
On a C3?
Yeah, what are those?
Where?
It says it's a gaming keyboard.
Yeah. It doesn't have any extra keys.
What? Oh, those are okay. Those are the home and page up, page down keys.
Yeah, that's just where they
just stuck them in a
cut off the 10 key pad.
Yep, that's what they did. Okay, well, I kind of like the 10 key, but I don't necessarily need the 10 key. $22 plus $15 to have it shipped. So that
You can
looks,
get one for $38 with free shipping. So then you start getting into the, well, maybe I could type faster with different keys, different switches. So this is a test pack of 100 different switches. And each one of the buttons is labeled with what the switch is.
Hey,
And there's
Art.
linears. These are linear reds. They just are kind of mushy to me, but people that like them really like them. Browns have a bump. They're tactile. Blues are nice and noisy.
Hey, Art.
Yeah.
Keyboard people are nuts.
I'm learning a whole
You didn't even realize there were 100 different switches that were available, did you?
Absolutely not. This is
I honestly, I had only known about the cherry switches. I did not know that they made like dozens of different cherry switches.
Oh, yeah.
It's like,
There are 35 different kinds of cherry switches. Gateron has probably 80 different switches. Kale has 70 or so.
I've only ever heard of cherry switches, and that's probably because of I'm pretty sure the military had cherry switches in their keyboards.
Yep. And then after you've gotten your switch, or after you've decided what kind of switch you want, you can choose to get them pre-lubricated or do that yourself. They sell a little aluminum puck that when you push the switch into it, pops the switch open so that you can use a little tiny paintbrush and lubricate the switch.
what do you lubricate them with?
Most people use something called Kratok 403, I think. I'm not sure. I haven't gotten to that point yet. Give me 2 weeks.
Okay. Is this like a silicone lubricant?
Yeah.
Kind of thing? Because I would think that some lubricants would attack the plastic.
Plastic.
Yeah.
Yep. And they sell switches made with different kinds of plastics. You can get higher molecular weight polyolomide or something like that. I don't remember. It's a denser plastic, but it feels kind of greasy or greasy, I guess. Depends on whether you're from Cincinnati or not.
I've got to say, this is a real niche business.
Art's eyes have been open.
Yeah, this is a whole area of experience that I didn't realize existed.
I have to agree with you, Art. I mean, I knew you could buy replacement keycaps for certain keyboards and whatever, and I knew about cherry switches, but I had no idea that there's just so much. It's like an entire industry of keys.
Find it.
and then you could just print your own keycaps.
Yep.
Yep.
So if anybody ever wants to borrow this thing to decide if you want to play with this,
yeah,
you're more than welcome to it.
I might
it's
do
nice.
I might do that after I so I'm really looking at some of the prices on eBay for a couple of these keyboards, and I really do want a mechanical keyboard again. So I might borrow your thingy. So because I'll guarantee that whatever I find cheap on eBay probably won't have the keys I like.
Well, I'm looking at eBay, and here, hold on. Let me come on, open another.
C3 looks really interesting now. It's a wired keyboard. I'd really want a wireless.
Yeah, I like the wireless simply because I don't have another cable I'm dragging around on my desktop.
I've got a little KVM. I've got 3 machines right here, and I've got a little KVM, and just having one dongle plugged into that KVM services all 3 machines just fine. But having two wires plugged in there would be extra stuff hanging out. So,
So this one, you can switch,
oh,
select whether you get red or brown.
okay,
Red is linear. They're very soft and you can't feel when you've made a contact.
right,
One of the things I like about this is that the wire is down here in a trough.
right.
An awful lot of keyboards, and I haven't figured this out. The plug is on the top edge. So if you've got a wire in it, it sticks out another inch and a half.
Mm-hmm.
That just irritates me. But I mean,
That's what I'm looking at on this C3 is, yeah, it's wired, but it looks like the wire is actually in a decent spot.
a C3 or a K3?
C. You were looking, the one you just showed was a C.
Oh, yeah.
C is in Charles.
Like this one's wireless, but you've got to plug it in about once every month or so to charge it back up.
Yeah.
And
See,
hmm.
see, that's one thing that I kind of like about the Logitechs. They use AAA batteries.
Yeah.
And I've had this thing for, I don't know how long, over a year now, and I've never replaced the batteries in it. I've replaced the batteries in the mouse a couple of times, but
Yeah, that's my experience also. You replace the batteries in the mouse probably 5 times for every time you replace the batteries in the keyboard.
yeah,
And the battery in the mouse is a AA.
yes. Yeah, it's one single battery, but it lasts a good long time, but you're definitely replacing it more often than the ones in the keyboards.
Yeah.
So,
Here you can get one for a left-hander.
wow, I don't need that.
Hmm.
That would be so awkward using 10 key over on that side. To me. To me. Yeah, I'm gonna have to seriously sit down and search through eBay and come up with one. But the C3 is looking pretty attractive. This guy says programmable 87 keys, which that's a lot of keys.
Well, no, that's the normal number plus what is it?
It's a
13
lot.
keypad?
Well, it's a lot of keys to be programmable, though.
Oh, they're all programmable. You can make every key send the letter A.
Why would you want to screw with somebody?
That's kind of the point of these things. You can make it so that when you hold down one key, usually it's the function key, but I moved that. If you do function L,
Oh, okay.
that will log you into Windows
Okay. That now
and
that
you
makes
locks it.
that makes sense. If you're actually using a function plus whatever.
Yeah.
But I'm thinking, if I reprogram the A key, what good is that going to do if I need an A?
So these keyboards have layers. Most of them have 7 or 8. And you program one layer to be normal. You can program a layer to be a Colmac or what was that other K keyboard?
Like
if you want
to
if you want to try to learn a different way of having the keys laid out, you just program it. Wiggle your keycaps around. I have one layer that locks, that is all of my macros and mouse keys. So I tap two keys. I've got it now locked on layer 3. And H, J, K, and L are mouse movement up, down, left, and right. Well, in that order. What is it? U, I, and O are my 3 mouse buttons. And then the wheel becomes a scroll. It's a toy. It's a fun thing.
It's a fun thing. So, okay, I know you said that the red switches were kind of squishy, but the brown switches, what do they do?
They're tactical. As you start to push them down, the resistance goes up, and then all of a sudden it fades away, and you've gone over a bump. And as soon as that happens, that's when the contacts in the switch make. And so that's when you've sent a letter. So you can feel when you've made a contact.
Okay.
And the clicky ones you can hear when you've made the contact.
Yeah, I like the clicky myself, but brown sounds like it probably would serve almost the same.
So my first marriage was probably ended by a clicky keyboard.
Therein lies a story.
Yeah. Yeah, I was staying up till 3, 4 a.m. on bulletin boards, and she didn't appreciate that.
See, I don't know. When I was staying up to 3 or 4 a.m. on bulletin boards, I actually met my girlfriend from a bulletin board. So we were both staying up until 3 or 4 in the morning,
Nice.
playing around on bulletin boards. But it was not a virtual thing. She actually lived at the house. We just would stay up all night playing on bulletin boards because we were crazy.
Yeah, I missed that.
So, yeah, this one keyboard I was really intrigued about. The guy only has 10 feedback and only 90% positive. So I think I'm going to pass on that keyboard.
Yeah.
But
Sounds like
I will continue to look.
yeah, you might want to give him a wide berth.
Yeah. So he really only has had 4. Yeah, I don't know how he got 10. He really only has 4 feedback that you can actually see and read. So
Maybe he left his own.
I don't know. But yeah, he doesn't really inspire the confidence of me giving him $37.
Okay.
Oh, incidentally, you can also buy quite a few Keychron keyboards at Micro Center.
Really? Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, I think the second keyboard that Vicente bought was a Keychron. I think maybe it was the first. Of course, you have to pay retail if you go to Micro Center.
Yeah, they've got a V1 for $85. Also, Micro Center has their own brand of mechanical keyboards.
Really?
Yeah.
The Inland brand?
Yep.
Yeah, but they don't manufacture keyboards, I'm sure. So they're buying it from somebody, even if they're private labeling it.
They're cheap.
Yeah. And so there's a group on Reddit called MK or / mechanical keyboards. And those things are supposed to be pretty good.
This is the Micro Center.
Yep.
Huh.
I mean, honestly, here, other than maybe the keycaps being different and maybe the switches, this thing looks like, doesn't that kind of look like the C3?
Yep. And you can put whatever switches you want in it.
And it's $29.
Yeah.
Clicky blue switches. Okay.
That looks an awful lot like that C3. I may have to go down there and pick one of those up. That may be the way to get into a cheap mechanical keyboard.
It's the way to find out if it's a thing that you want to spend future money on.
Yeah. So what it says it's blue switches. What are the blue switches like?
It's available in a couple of different flavors.
Rainbow RGB. That's all we need. Right. Oh no, it says brown tactile switch. Okay. Yeah.
Custom brown tactile switch.
Custom brown tactile switch.
Okay.
If you want to try some decent switches, I have a set. Are those hot swap? That's the only thing.
Uh,
It looks like no.
I don't see that on their spec thing anywhere.
So it probably isn't, almost certainly isn't, which means you got to break out a soldering iron if you need to replace a switch, which
Okay.
is a big deal. Replacing all 87 of them isn't fun.
Well, I guess the best thing to do is next time we have a in-person meeting is just go down there and mash on the keys and see how they feel.
Yeah.
It says brown switches.
If you want, I can bring in one of my keyboards, let you feel it, because there's definitely a difference to feeling it.
Wow. Inland has the USB 107 key keyboard for $5.
And it feels like it.
And it's definitely the $5 keyboard. I had bought one of their USB keyboard mouse combos cheap, and the keys did exactly what you said. The longer I typed on them, the less letter was left.
Oh, it wiped off the
Oh, yeah.
letter off.
And it happened. I mean, it was a month, maybe 2 months, just typing. I didn't do anything special to them, but it was also $10, so it wasn't like I was. I think I've still got that keyboard. I kept it as a spare, but it's not one I want to use.
So how this all ties in for me is these keyboards are programmable and they use a whole variety of different processors, but I'm working on one with an RP 2040. I've got a couple of macro keyboards that use that, and they're nice. And I've been learning QMK and actually programming a keyboard in C. It's crazy.
It's interesting. Huh.
Here's an inland gaming keyboard, bare bones for 85 bucks. That does say hot swappable.
Yeah, that comes with no switches
No switches.
or keycaps.
This says build your own keyboard, basically.
Yep.
Does that not look like a Keychron?
Yeah, it's real similar. So you can go on AliExpress and buy just the circuit board for these things.
Yeah.
And sometimes they just work with VIA, sometimes they don't. But they're relatively easy to get working.
Wow.
And it's
Whole,
always a learning experience.
whole new vistas are opening up.
You can even get just a single uh, knob keyboard.
Cool. Oh yeah. That is on a DigiSpark.
Yep.
And what's the purpose of that?
Volume control. You can use it like if you're using OBS to select cameras or
Okay.
everything. It actually does quite a bit. And there's the big brother. This little guy from where did I buy this thing?
It's a Adafruit product, isn't it?
Yeah. Adafruit macro pad. When I got it, it didn't have any VIA or QMK support. And they finally got that. And I've got this all set up. So, oh, wait, that's upside down. No,
No, they're not the other way around.
sorry, it's backwards for me. I don't know if those are legible or not.
Yep.
They are legible.
Password, win user, win pass, Linux, et cetera, et cetera.
Yep. So I can just set this next to my computer here and not have to remember a bunch of 17 character passwords and stuff. Which I have 8 days before my password needs to be changed.
Yeah, I need to go through and start changing my passwords again. It's been a little while.
How reliable are these fingerprint password thingies?
I don't know. And I don't even really know a good way to test that.
Huh. Here's a $29 keyboard from Micro Center that does not have the extra keys. It looks like one of the K8, K6, K8 keyboards. It
Okay.
says somebody asked if the keyboard had hot swappable keys, and they said yes, it has hot swappable keys. So that might be the one to play with.
On Raspberry Pi Picos, I just got an announcement from somebody, I don't know who, Breadboard OS. You actually get a shell on those things and they're interactive. I was going to load a environment up on one of those. Based on RTOS, has a watchdog.
What is it called? Breadboard OS?
Breadboard OS, yep. GitHub.com/McKinley, MCKNLY/breadboard-OS.
It's in the chat.
Yep, that's it.
Huh. For the Pico. That might be something fun to play with. I have not found very many uses for my Picos.
Keyboards.
Keyboards.
So
I don't know. I mean, I used the ESP32S3 for, keyboard control. That worked pretty well. So using it as a Bluetooth keyboard, it's actually more of a macro keyboard, but I bought some stuff from AliExpress on their cheap deal.
Yeah.
A lot of that stuff was just junk. Hooked me in with the cheap price. But I did end up with earbuds
No, nice.
that are actually they're actually halfway decent. I was actually kind of surprised. I think I paid $2 for those. Had them shipped.
$2?
Yeah.
Gee,
For the earbuds. They're I don't know how long they'll last. They're definitely not Apple earbuds.
were
But
they
they're-
rechargeable?
Yeah. They come with, you know, they come in the little recharging case. The dollar store started selling these things for $5, so they're probably got a deal with buying them from China for next to nothing. And I ended up with this was probably the other of my better deals was the magnetic charging cable with 3 tips.
Yeah.
It's
Which,
it's almost the same cable that you've got, only I thought I was buying a short cable and this thing is 6 foot long.
oh,
$2.
really? Okay,
Yep.
that's cheap. Is it the oval end or the round end?
Round in. Round in.
I like the oval ones. They don't stick out as much. Oh, that's ugly.
Well, I saw the price and I was like, oh, okay, I'll throw 3 or 4 of those in the cart. And they work pretty good. Except I've noticed the micro USB connector doesn't fit quite as well in a couple of my devices as it could, or as it should. But everything else seems to work well. The Firewire connector and the USB-C connector work well. I just thought I was ordering a short cable and they sent me these monster, like 6 foot long cables. Okay, cool. $2. Okay. I won't argue. I've been, yeah, I put a Firewire plug on the chart on the thing, and I've been using. I probably should order a few more of those. That seemed like it was a decent deal. And I got a quote unquote smartwatch, which is a watch. It is nowhere near smart, but it cost me $5. It does read your blood pressure and your heart rate, but I don't know if it's anywhere close to being right. The software on it is horrible. They tried to mimic an Apple Watch and failed miserably.
So that gives you blood pressure, pulse. Does it give you blood ox?
It does, but who knows if any of that stuff is right. I think the heart rate is probably the only one that's even close.
Well, I've got regular blood ox, you know, that I bought from Amazon. They're pretty accurate, and I mean, the technology of them is not complicated. It's pretty simple. basically you're just looking at comparing two wavelengths of light that's passing through your skin.
Yeah. I I don't know what a normal blood ox level would be or should be, but mine never changed.
Someplace in the high 90s.
Okay.
It should be well above 95.
Well, mine never changes. It's always the same.
Really?
Yeah.
Mine, when I put it on the thing that goes on the tip of your finger, it'll start out low and go high, or start out high and then go down a little bit. It's only 2 or 3 points, but
It went right back. I just did it again, and it went from 97 to 98, and it's always says it's 98. So
Yeah, that's
When it-
probably pretty close.
yeah. You
That's
have to worry if it starts going down into like the 80s.
if you hit 50, you won't know.
This is true. It dials up the mortician.
my blood pressure in my finger is 120. 110. Oh, it got better. 110
Which-
over 75 in my finger.
Oh, okay.
I've always been curious how they get blood pressure, though they seem to be fairly close. I have one of those. I think I paid $12 for.
Yeah, but this was another one of those, deals that Amazon is getting, or not Amazon, AliExpress is getting really concerned about Temu and all their garbage that Temu has. So
Yep.
they started offering garbage for cheap.
Yep.
And some of their garbage is good and some of it is not so much. But I bought a bunch of garbage and most of it is just that. So in my finger, I have a heart rate of 80. Now,
Yeah, that sounds like you're a little excited.
on my wrist, let's see what it actually does. See, this is why I don't trust it, because it takes readings off of your finger or off the desk. Oh, it still says 80, so
Yeah, it's just got to get a little bit beneath the skin. It's actually measuring the capillary flow.
but my desk has a blood pressure of 85 or a heart rate of 85, so I've got it sitting on my desk. I want to know how anything is flowing through my desk.
It just remembers.
It just remembered. But it got more. Let's see what the O2 of my desk is. Dun, dun, dun. 96, 98, 97.
Really?
Oh, the O2 of my desk is 97. See, I don't trust this thing.
When I use the regular blood ox thing on the tip of my finger, typically it will start out a little bit higher and then gradually work it down just a few points. But mine tends to run low. It runs,
Right. Well,
60, 70 is high for me. And it'll drop down to like, sometimes it drops down to like 55 or so.
beats per minute or
I'm sorry?
55 what? Beats per minute?
Yeah,
Dang. Okay. Congratulations.
but I should condition this by saying I'm on 5 different blood pressure pills. So I I gotta say, I'm not sure that that's. I'm sure that it's accurate. I'm just
The blood,
saying that it's modified by
the,
various medications.
the blood pressure of my desk is 112/67.
Oh, really? Okay.
See, I
Seems
don't do what?
seems legitimate.
I don't know. I didn't really know that my desk had a blood pressure. See,
So my,
I find it hard to trust this watch.
yeah.
Yeah, I think offhand I would.
You kind of broke up a little, Steve, which is weird.
Oh, sorry. That looks real similar to the one I've got.
Yeah. Oh, it probably is. It's nice metal case. It feels nice and solid, but the software on it is just crap. Just and the band is, one of those rubber sweaty bands that
Yeah.
I got to
Yeah.
replace that band. So the watch actually keeps pretty decent time, but you can't trust anything that it says. So that was my fun junk from. Oh, and one of my packages was in Cincinnati 2 days ago. Was going to be delivered early and ended up in California.
Oopsies.
Now
It's
this is from AliExpress.
from AliExpress.
That's weird.
Oh, my guess is that it's a small package. So my guess is they threw it into the bucket to go to Springboro and it either fell out or they missed and it ended up in the go halfway across the world bucket. Because Cincinnati is a big sorting center and they've done stuff like that before. It'll show up in a couple of days. It's just it should have already been here. It was in Cincinnati.
Presley.
It was in Cincinnati.
So my cheap AliExpress stuff that just showed up today, I got a little TTL level serial adapter.
Oh, okay.
Does 5 volts, 3.3 volts, 2.5 volts, or 1.8 volt logic.
Okay.
And I'm not sure why, but it came with a little 4-pin adapter. And the wires are wrong. I have red on positive, but black is on transmit, blue is on receive, and green is on ground. I have no idea why they're in that order. Come here.
I bought a microcontroller from Lily Godo. Not I mean it's probably been about a year ago. Lily Go put a Grove connector on it and wired the Grove connector upside down. So you basically can't use Grove devices with it because the power would go into one of the inputs. And they were perfectly aware that because like dozens of people in their forums said the Grove pin connector is upside down. It's wired wrong. Okay, we'll fix it. So they came out with version 2 of the same device, which I own. I own version 2. The Grove connector is upside down. They did not fix it. But knowing that it's upside down, I just shaved off the key pin for the Grove connector and shoved the Grove connector in there upside down anyway. So it still works. It's just upside down. So yeah, they will do stuff like that. They would just, and even if you tell them that they're wrong, they'll go, we'll fix it. We'll fix it. Nope, it's not fixed.
That was somebody else's job.
Yeah.
Well, reading the forum posts on this one in particular, you could tell they do not speak English. English is not at all. And they questioned how you knew it was upside down because the connector looked right to them. And you could just tell they were asking the wrong question. They were trying to do something. They did not understand what people were telling them, because they thought that the physical connector was upside down, not that the pins were laid out wrong.
No, either way.
If they turned the connector over, would that have worked? That might have worked. But then you couldn't turn the connector over because of the way the key pin worked.
No.
The key pin has to be at the top with the way the Grove connectors work. But they didn't understand that. I think they actually turned without changing the pins, I think they tried to turn the connector over, and that didn't work at all. Because then you couldn't even plug anything into it. I don't know. You could just tell they didn't really understand what the problem was. So that's been my fun. Spending silly money on stuff at AliExpress. Yes, my package is still in Sacramento. It will not make it here by today if it's still in Sacramento.
Probably not.
It's expected to be delivered before 9 p.m. No, it's not.
Okay.
No, it's not. It's not going to make it.
I think it's this is Sacramento, Ohio. I don't know.
No, it definitely says CA. That would be
Okay.
Cali.
Or Canada.
Could
That's
be
true.
Canada.
So let's see. I have 1, 2, 3, 4. I have 4 orders from AliExpress inbound.
Yeah, I've got 2. One of them is in Memphis, which kind of surprised me. And one of them went to California. It was here. It was close. I could have reached out and grabbed it, but it went to California. But I haven't bought anything since, because the stuff that I did buy, I was not overly impressed with. I mean, seriously, the best thing I bought are these stupid cables. And that should say something. when I'm impressed with cables.
Those are handy.
They are, but that was the most impressive thing I bought. And I will actually probably buy more of those because they were surprisingly good. There's so I would probably just buy more ends if I could find just the ends for it.
No, just the ends cost more than the cable and the ends.
Of course it does. That makes perfectly good sense. So basically what you're saying is if I want a bunch of ends, just buy a bunch of cables.
Yep.
So when you buy from AliExpress, how do you pay?
I use PayPal.
Yep.
Okay.
Big fan of PayPal.
I don't know if I'm a big fan of PayPal, but it is definitely safer to use PayPal than any other.
You don't want to use a credit card, that's for sure.
Yeah, it AliExpress is still kind of unique. Even with this cheap junk that they're selling, they hold the funds in escrow until you, the customer, are actually satisfied with the order.
Hmm.
So the seller doesn't actually get the funds until you get the product or 65 days passes, whichever comes first. Either you are happy and say, yes, I'm happy, or 65 days have passed and they release the funds to the seller. But before all the junk started showing up, the effect of holding the funds in escrow made the sellers more amenable to helping you with situations or taking care of problems or whatever, because they wanted their money. You had the product, they wanted their money. Since the junk has showed up, I've noticed that sellers are kind of selling junk and they kind of know they're selling junk. So I think it may have had a opposite effect of what they really want to do.
But where else are you going to be able to buy 200 different fidget spinners for $3?
Woo! Yeah. A few years ago, you might have actually been able to get rid of that many fidget spinners. I think I've convinced myself to go down and get one of these inland keyboards. I think I've convinced myself to do that. What does it mean when it says 80% keyboard?
80% is one that doesn't have the 10 key pad,
Okay.
and 60% doesn't have the arrows and the home, delete, insert, page up, page down.
Scroll lock,
Yep.
print screen. Okay.
Though you can put those on a layer and still use them.
It's probably a matter of marketing or whatever. It says 10 key less TKL, and then right below it says 80% keyboard. What you're saying is they're basically saying the same thing twice.
Yep. They're trying to match up with as many searches as possible.
Okay.
In key rollover. I've not heard that one either.
On the original IBM keyboards, if you pressed any two keys, it would work. But if you pressed a third key, you would ghost fourth key.
Okay.
These don't do that. And you can actually turn that off. You can disable N key rollover so that you get that ghosting if you want it. I don't know why that's a thing.
But they say it, so there it is. Yeah, I've read some reviews. I've looked at some other stuff. This cheap $29 keyboard looks like a good entry level starting keyboard. That looks like it might actually be the same thing as a Keychron. For like a lot less money. Of course, it's using, they are using keycaps and whatever that you would probably want to change if you were really into that stuff, but it looks like a good entry level anyway.
I'll bring in a couple of my keyboards next in-person meeting and you can see what you think.
Yeah. I played around with that. You brought that little keypad in month ago, 2 months ago maybe. I played around with it a little bit, but I don't remember which keys I liked.
This one
No, the demo.
by 10,
The what?
the 10 by 10 one.
Yeah, you brought that in maybe a month ago or so, right after you had got it, I think. And I played around with it, but I don't remember. I remember thinking either brown or blue, but I don't remember the rest of it. I don't remember which one I actually settled on I liked better.
Yeah, I understand.
Blue was more of a clicky, if I remember right, and brown was more of that tactile thing that's
Yep.
got the extra push to it. And I liked either one of those. And this keyboard says it uses brown, so, or it's got brown already. So it'll probably be all right. I'll probably be happy. I guess I shouldn't complain. I spend money on stupid crap from AliExpress. I might as well spend some money here in America. You're muted, Art. You're saying stuff, but you're muted.
Right. The reality is it's all built in the same place.
I know. But it's nice to think that I'm keeping it here.
Yeah, right. Good luck.
Just saying. Oh, we are getting to the end. We are virtual next week again.
Next 2 weeks, aren't we?
Yep, and virtual the following week, and we will be in person the 1st of
June.
June. Actually, the 6th of June.
Okay.
So it I don't really have anything else. I know we still got like 8 minutes. I was hoping to see some more people. Vicente didn't show up. Don't know where he's at.
He might be traveling.
He might be. He might be.
I mean, now that he's got a daughter at Stanford, he may be going back and
Back
forth.
and forth, yeah. Well, the grandkid has another week of school left, so I know it's got to be getting close to the end of school for everybody.
Not sure when Stanford lets out. It's probably the last week of May.
Yeah,
But,
yeah. But I think we learned more about keyboards than we ever wanted to know.
I was going to say, I mean, I am
Sorry.
absolutely astounded by this keyboard. I can only describe it as a fetish. I mean, it's it's unbelievable. And the thing is, I find it strange that there's enough interest in keyboards that all these boutique manufacturers or niche manufacturers can actually afford to keep these products running. But you know, it is what it is. I just find it amazing. On the other hand, there's lots of people out in the world there who spend a lot of time hammering on keyboards and
you know, the keyboard guys are different. Love them, but my middle kid, she collects Stanley cups. You know, the Stanley thermoses.
Oh, I
The
thought you
oh,
were hockey thing.
Yeah,
I was gonna say, I mean, how did she get a hold of?
when she first told me about it, I thought hockey. That's exactly what I thought. She probably these stupid things are $35 to $65 a piece, and she probably has 1,000 of them, and they're all different, and she's nuts. She's absolutely nuts. And they have
Are these all vacuum?
no, they're not like the old Stanley thermos, which had the glass in them and kept hot stuff hot and cold stuff cold. These are it's basically kind of like a Yeti cup. They're really nice cups. They keep stuff warm and cold, but they're not like thermoses like we think. Oh, there we go. Yes,
So
the cat
someone
people.
collects everything. This is in Cincinnati. Would you have expected the lucky cat in Cincinnati?
The Lucky Cat. One of the, I think the little 3D printer that you got from me, Steve, the test file for that was a Lucky Cat.
Nice.
Yeah, printed it great. It might have been the Delta. It might not have been. I don't remember which one it was, but either way, it. I have a Lucky Cat somewhere.
I mean, they just have pretty much anything you can think of.
Nice. So basically, what you're saying is we're all nuts. We all have our thing.
Everybody's got their thing.
I've got Batman cars everywhere.
There you go.
Okay.
So we're all nuts. Yes.
I
And
have a big collection of 3D prints from Micro Center. Every time I go in,
What is that?
it's an egg. It's an egg with color changing filament. That's what I wanted to know how that looked. That actually looks pretty cool.
yeah, this one was the best of the 4 or 5 that were sitting there. I'll bring this to the next meeting.
The 2024 Batmobile.
Wait, they've released another Batman movie?
No, no,
Just
no.
another.
This isn't even the Batman and Robin car, but they're calling it the Batman and Robin movie car. But it's not, that's not the right car. But
Um,
anyway. Yes, I guess we all have our things. It's just I only spend $1 for my things.
oh, I no.
No. No,
When was the last KK to Customs? Was that in February or March?
I don't know.
Because they had 5 different Batmobiles there.
Yes, I think I knew about that and I couldn't go for some reason. I don't remember what was going on.
Yeah, nope, that's my wedding. Maybe that was last year or January.
They had something down at the Synergy building
Yep.
and there were supposed to be like 5 Batmobiles down there.
These
And
are
I-
full size or these are models?
Full size.
Real
One-
real
They
real
full size.
Batmobiles. I don't remember what I was doing. I remember I couldn't go, but I don't remember why I couldn't go. Kid's birthday, maybe? I don't know. I just know I couldn't go. So Hamvention's this week, and up there in Xenia. I'm not going to be able to go to it either. So it is it's 7 o'clock, guys. So
Okay.
I think it's time for dinner, and we will see everybody next week, hopefully.
Okay. Well, you take care.
Yep.
Definitely going to try.
Yeah.
Stay safe.
Be safe.
Take on the ice.
Bye.